It was a warm summer afternoon, the kind where time seemed to slow down under the golden embrace of the sun. The air was thick with the scent of blooming flowers and the distant hum of cicadas, creating a peaceful atmosphere that felt almost surreal. Sunlight streamed through the open window, casting long soft rays across my bedroom, illuminating the space in a golden hue. I was home alone, a rare moment of solitude that I cherished. The house was silent, save for the gentle rustling of leaves outside, a melody that lulled me into a sense of tranquility. As I lay stretched out on my bed, the cool sheets against my skin provided a stark contrast to the warmth of the afternoon. I had not intended to drift off, but as the minutes passed, my eyelids grew heavy, and soon I surrendered to the pull of sleep. There was something liberating about these rare moments of rest, being alone with my thoughts, unburdened by responsibilities or the noise of the world. I felt vulnerable yet free, floating between consciousness and dreams. A soft knock on the door jolted me awake. My heart leaped in my chest, startled by the unexpected intrusion. I sat up quickly, pulling the sheets around me as I tried to shake off the haze of sleep. As my vision cleared, I saw Mark, my son-in-law, standing in the doorway. His expression was a mix of surprise and hesitation, as if he had not expected to find me there. "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were out," he said, his voice laced with an apology. I forced a smile, my heart still racing. "No worries, Mark. I was just resting." He hesitated for a moment, then stepped inside, closing the door behind him. Mark had always been a part of our family, kind, thoughtful, and deeply devoted to my daughter. Over the years we had shared many conversations, but this one felt different. The air between us was charged with something unspoken, an awareness of the unusual intimacy of the moment. "I didn't mean to disturb you," he said, rubbing the back of his neck awkwardly. "It's fine, really," I assured him. "What's on your mind?" Mark sighed and sank into the armchair by the window. "I guess I just needed someone to talk to. Things have been complicated lately." I nodded, understanding that life had a way of throwing unexpected challenges our way. "Complicated how?" He exhaled, staring out at the sunlit garden. "Marriage, work, expectations. Sometimes I feel like I'm being pulled in 100 different directions, and I don't know if I'm making the right choices." I listened carefully, giving him the space to share his thoughts. It was rare for people to be this open, especially in a world where vulnerability was often mistaken for weakness. "I think everyone feels that way at some point," I said gently. "Life doesn't come with a guidebook. We're all just figuring it out as we go." He chuckled, shaking his head. "That's comforting and terrifying at the same time." "It's meant to be," I admitted with a smile. "But I've learned that the moments of uncertainty often lead us to the most meaningful growth." We sat in silence for a moment, the weight of unspoken emotions hanging between us. Then, Mark looked at me with an earnestness that caught me off guard. "You always seem so composed. How do you do it?" I considered his question carefully before answering. "It's not that I don't have doubts or struggles. I just try to focus on what I can control. My reactions, my mindset, and how I treat the people in my life. Everything else, it's just part of the journey." Mark nodded, his expression thoughtful. "I admire that. Sometimes I wish I had that kind of clarity." "You will," I assured him. "It comes with time and experience. The key is to be kind to yourself along the way." The conversation flowed easily after that, moving from heavy topics to light-hearted stories about family, travel, and childhood memories. The afternoon sun shifted, casting a golden glow across the room as the hours passed unnoticed. It was rare to have such an honest exchange, a moment of genuine connection that reminded me of the importance of slowing down and appreciating the people in our lives. As the evening approached, Mark glanced at his watch and let out a small laugh. I should probably head back before they start wondering where I disappeared to. I smiled. Time flies when you're lost in good conversation. He stood and stretched, looking more at ease than when he had arrived. Thanks for this. I didn't realize how much I needed to talk. Any time, I said sincerely. Sometimes all we need is a little perspective. Mark nodded, his gratitude evident. You always know the right thing to say. I shook my head with a chuckle. Not always. But I do know that talking things through helps. And you're always welcome here. As he left, I sat back on the bed, reflecting on the conversation. Life was full of complexities, of emotions that sometimes didn't make sense, of what's next pot.